Hi Jotipal, here is your web review for thegoldenlight.co.uk. Let me just share my screen so that we can see the site. Okay, here we go. So let's go to the home page first. Okay, so it'd be really great to see your picture on the front page. Mainly my big kind of, let me just unshare the screen. Oh, I can do that now. Hi, yes. So my big feedback about the site is that it needs to shift from being about the two modalities that you use, which is Kundalini Yoga and Body Talk, and shifting that to being about you as the practitioner, and thinking less in terms of the tools you use and more in terms of your personal body of work. The way that you bring those things to life, the way that you share them, the way that you show up in the consulting room and in the yoga studio, that is the key thing that you're selling. And that's the one thing that doesn't really come across in the words and the images on your website. So that feedback is going to come up again and again throughout the site. And I'm going to talk about how you can actually bring that to life, practically speaking. So the other point that really carries through the whole site is using, apart from the blog, which is more conversational and you can kind of go into detail a bit more and go off on tangents, you really want most of those pages to be doing four things, to be kind of telling the scaffolding of the story that you're telling is really based on four things. First of all, who are you talking to? Are you making it clear that they're in the right place? Hi, this is for you. What problem are they dealing with, or what are they looking for that you're meeting in this space? What is the solution that you're offering? What's the process that you're offering? How is that different from other processes? What makes it special? And what's the result? How will they feel? How will things be different as a result of it? And really your homepage, your about page, and the guts of what's going to be in your Work With Me page, which I suggest you replace your Body Talk and Kundalini Yoga pages with, is going to follow that 4-point thing. Who is it for? What do they need? What are you giving them? And why does it matter? What difference is it going to make? And that's your kind of, those are your 4 points that you need to keep coming back to as you work over the site. Okay, let's just go back, share the screen again. Entire screen, yes, please. And here's the site. Okay, yeah, so with that in mind, I would definitely put a picture of yourself at the front. I do really like that banner. It's really making a statement that this is your space, you're holding this space, people are safe in this space because you're a safe pair of hands, and having your face and your picture at the front is really great. If you're struggling with a banner picture, to change that, at the very least, I would have a picture of you here where you've got this lovely picture here. Again, I like the picture. I like everything that you've got. It's all great. It's all really good words. It just needs something else as well. And most of the content that you've got here, I think, could be repurposed as blog content. So on the home page, you really want a fairly short piece of text that's basically saying, hi, this is for you if you are, and then calling out the people that you want to connect with. And what I know about your business, I know that you're really looking at people who are ready for change, really ready to commit. They know that the answer is lying in the energetic space as much as the physical space, and they're ready to dig deep to make a change, and they've maybe tried other things and it hasn't worked, but you're really looking at people who are ready to commit to create big change in their health and in their life, and it's really worth calling those people out on your homepage here. There are some great words in here, but I would want to use that mainly as blog content. You can walk people through your website by having that piece of text and then sending them to your about page, sending them to your Work With Me page. But you want a key kind of, you want a really brief statement at the top saying, ticking those 4 boxes, who it's for, what they're looking for, and the differences that what you're doing is going to make. And you want that kind of up here. You can go into a bit more detail here if you need to. Okay. Then the next page that I would have on your menu here, I want to simplify the menu. So I would simplify these three: the Body Talk, Therapeutic Touch, Kundalini Yoga and Events at 4. These 4 I would put into a Work With Me page. You can then link off of the Work With Me page to give more information, because you've obviously got quite a lot of information to share. But I would break that down so that you've got one-to-ones instead of the Body Talk and classes. And they would either be a section on that page or linking to a separate page. The reason for doing that is you're really simplifying the information. You're making it very easy to jump to the right thing. And then the reason for breaking this bit down is that you're sectioning it off rather than by modality. You're sectioning it off according to what people are going to be looking for. Generally, people know whether they're looking for a class or whether they're looking for a one-to-one. I know most of your one-to-ones are Body Talk and that you're beginning to incorporate the Kundalini Yoga. And it kind of doesn't matter in a way. You get to decide per client what's required, whether it's Body Talk, whether it's Kundalini Yoga. People are coming to you for a session, and that in itself is a big shift, kind of accepting that they're coming to you, to Jotipal, rather than just wanting Body Talk, just give me Body Talk from anybody who's giving it to me, offering it. And that shift, that's a really important shift that it's time to make that, and it will make the website work much more clearly if you can communicate it in that way. So one-to-ones, classes, the events really come under the category of classes. And again, you break the classes down into women's classes, general classes and children's classes. Okay. Yeah, so the next, but I would put before the Work With Me section, personally, I would put your About page. So let me just share the screen again. There we go. Is it sharing? No, screen share. There we go. Share. Yeah, so your About page is what comes next, and your About page is kind of an extension of what you're saying on the home page. Again, rather than being a list of your life experience and your qualifications and your skills, it's really about saying it's the shift is again from this is about all the things that I do to this is about the space that I'm holding. Because if you think about your website as a space that you're holding, it becomes much more natural to be saying, well, who is this space for? What are they coming to the space for? How is this space going to help them? And how is that going to make a difference to them? Where's that going to leave them? And your About page really wants to talk about that process. You then want to talk about why you're the person to do that, why you're a safe pair of hands. And that's where telling your personal story comes in. But you only need to tell as much of your story as is necessary to gain trust. This is a place where you might want to talk about why Body Talk made such a difference to you, why Kundalini makes such a difference to you. You also want to talk about how you're integrating the two and how you're using them in your life and what a difference it's made in your life. So this is great about your spinal injury. The charity and social sector is kind of, it's more just about, you know, you had a career beforehand and you changed because Body Talk changed your life. And you were so inspired by it. So that's a little spin that I would put on that instead. Again, the list of qualifications is not nearly as important as talking about what your personal style is and what your personal take is on Kundalini Yoga and Body Talk and healing in general. If you're not so clear what your personal take is, then it's a time to go back to your testimonials, to maybe spend a little bit of time talking one-to-one to just going to take off the screen sharing. Talking one-to-one to past clients, just hearing their feedback to get a handle on what it is that people really find special about what you do. You then want to be reflecting that back in your About page. So again, it's really telling your story from the point of view of your potential clients. So what is going to take them through that process of know, like, trust? So they know you, they're looking on your website, they like you, they're still looking, they want to find out more. What can you tell them that's going to gain their trust? How is it going to gain their trust? Probably knowing that you've got a social sciences degree isn't going to make much difference to whether people book with you or not. Knowing that you had a spinal injury is. Knowing that you have a particular interest in holding space for women is going to make a real difference in terms of your Kundalini yoga, and so on and so on. And I know that you're still working this out, and there's still a lot that you can put down in here to make your story a lot more clear and a lot more compelling. Okay, let's have a look. Also, the other thing is I really like the About page to be in the first person. It's another opportunity to, let me just check if I'm sharing the screen. I'm not. Well, I can just carry on gandering about the About page. I really like the About page to be in the first person. I think it's more direct. Your website, I talked in the Facebook post about your website talking to the emotional brain. And the more you can make that personal connection, tell your personal story, but tell it in a way that you know is going to make a difference. So rather than just yammering on about yourself, you're saying, look, I see things from your point of view. I know what you're struggling with. I know what it's like because I've been there, and I've figured out this way of dealing with it, and I've gained this perspective on it, and I think this perspective is going to be really helpful for you. That's very different to just kind of giving a list of qualifications and so on. So you're really showing your potential customers that you know what it's like for them. That's the big message that you can get across through your website. Is you see them, you understand how hard it is for them, and you understand intimately the details of how they're struggling and why they're struggling. And I know that you know this because you've got a lot of experience as a practitioner, so you do know how people experience the problems that they're bringing. And if you can weave that into your copy and show that and tell stories, then that's going to make it a lot more compelling. Okay, let's just share the screen again as we go on. Screen share. Okay. So about page is really about you as the trusted practitioner, and about them, the problems that they're struggling with, and the solutions that you're offering. So it's like a summary. Okay, let's go to your Work With Me page. So I would really like to combine all of these, or to have these leap off a single Work With Me page. So what I'm offering page, Work With Me. And okay, yeah, and so I want to break down the Work With Me into one-to-ones and classes, but let's go to the Body Talk section first. Come on, computer, here we go. Body Talk, energy medicine. One thing I really do like, actually, is the number of testimonials that you've got. I think that you could have the testimonials up front and central. So you've got welcome, about, Work With Me, testimonials, blog, and content, rather than hiding them away. You can put testimonials from your one-to-one work and from your classes work. You can put them together, that's fine. You can then pick out your best testimonials and put them on your one-to-one page, put them on your classes page. But to have one place where all your praise is, I think there's no harm in that whatsoever. And again, that's shifting from offering this and offering that to being Jotipal, who is doing what Jotipal does, and here is all the praise for what Jotipal does. And that is a huge mindset shift. I know that you'll get there. Okay, what is Body Talk? How does Body Talk work, and why is it so effective? Again, the information here needs to be about your customers and it needs to be about you. You need to talk about body talk insofar as it explaining the difference between the other things on the market. Why would they choose body talk instead of a massage? Why would they choose body talk instead of acupuncture? Why would they choose body talk instead of osteopathy? When does it work? When is it particularly effective? For whom is it particularly effective in your practice? Those are the things that people need to know. And you've got some of that down here. Why is it so effective? Clients often see long-lasting change rather than short-term symptomatic relief because it works at addressing the root cause of the problem. That's very powerful. It's non-invasive. Can help many different health issues because we're working with the body and its priority rather than the agenda of the practitioner diagnosis. I think that's quite a powerful sentence as well. But overall, this page needs to say, right, body talk is going to work for you if you are tick, 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 tick. Body talk can help with the following problems. Now, I know that you've got this list here, what it can help, but I would want to go more into really, you've got this list of problems here, but I want to know for which people it's most effective at tackling these problems in your practice. And I really want you to call them out. And maybe it's particular kind of things that have been hanging around for a long time. It's things maybe with an emotional content. I don't know. This is a question you can answer yourself, but you really want to call out who it's particularly good at working in your practice, who it's particularly effective for, because they're going to be the best clients for you, and they're going to be the ones that are going to get the biggest results. You don't really need an ailment section. You could pick each one of these and maybe do a blog post about them. You could be guest blogging about chronic pain. You could be talking about allergies and how it can help. But I don't think that having a list of these problems is going to be a deal breaker for your potential clients. And you really want to trim down what you've got to focus on the stuff that's going to be a deal breaker. What is going to really convince them to book a session with you? And it's going to be trust that you can get those results. Okay, just moving on to, so we've got testimonials. And Kundalini Yoga, again, I don't particularly think you need to be outlining the class structure. You probably want to say that there's music, you probably want to say that there's chanting, you probably want to say that it's quite physical, and you probably want to say that it might move stuff emotionally. And that's probably all that people need to know in terms of the content of the class. What they really need to know is that they need to be committed to getting their stuff moving, that it's really going to make a difference in their lives. They need to know, again, it's the same stuff. Who does it work best for? And what kind of change is it most effective at making happen? And that's what I would talk about in your classes. Also, what makes your class different? What's special about your classes? Well, I know that you hold women-only classes. I know that you have sharings at the beginning and end of the class. And I know that you hold space really beautifully in those classes for people to go deep. And not all Kundalini teachers do that. Not all yoga teachers do that. Go back to your testimonials. Go back to your clients. Ask them what they most like about your classes. Ask them why they prefer to go to your classes to other people's classes, and put that in your yoga page. In addition to that, you've got Yogi Bhajan talking about Kundalini Yoga, and you've got a very kind of like a Wikipedia entry about Kundalini Yoga. And I would much rather, again, see a picture of you in your beautiful turban, I would like to see a video of you talking about the power of Kundalini Yoga and why women need to be doing Kundalini Yoga and why they need to be getting to your class now. I'd like to see a video of you. I'd like to see you, I'd like to read you talking about why you think it's so important and so valuable. Again, this is about Jotipal holding space, and that's what I'd like to see on this page. I'd then like to see a link to your women's class. I'd like to see a link to your drop-in class, and I'd like to see a link to your children's class. And that's how I'd like this page to be. Calling out for people who are going to benefit from this most right at the top, talking about what's special about Kundalini Yoga and your way of teaching it, and talking about the difference that it can make and the benefits they can expect to achieve from doing it. And that's how I'd like this page to look. And the therapeutic touch thing, again, that's a video of, that's another YouTube video. You don't need a YouTube video of somebody else on your website. You can by all means share that on your blog, share that on your social media, but this is your space for sharing your words, your perspective. People want you. That's why they're here. And that's what you need to be including in this space. Also, I would just mention the benefits of therapeutic touch and integrate that into your words about your one-to-ones. Anything else about Kundalini Yoga? Yeah, and kids yoga, I'd want that to be a separate link off of the single page from about Kundalini Yoga. And the events page, again, on the yoga page, on the classes page, you want a link to your gong baths. So we've got, I've never really enjoyed these pages. I find them quite overwhelming. And again, generally when people are looking for events, they're not looking by date, they're looking by the kind of class it is. So they'll be looking for a drop-in class, they'll be looking for a course, they'll be looking for a gong path. So again, you want to link that off of the Kundalini Yoga page, and you can make those links happen with images. You could have maybe 4 images, one for your Lunar Woman course, one for your drop-in class, one for your gong baths, one for your kids yoga, and maybe one for your one-off classes. I don't know, something like that. But make it visual, and then link on and make it by theme rather than by date. Okay, let's have a quick look at your blog. Yeah, my main feedback about the blog is that it's great stuff and you write really well. I would check in with your audience how useful they're finding this. I would maybe break it down to more usable stuff. You've got some great stuff. Where is it? Yeah, I love these tips down here. You could definitely turn these into little social media posts. You could probably write a blog about each one of these, having a shower or bath. The whole thing about cleaning out your chakras when you swim in the ocean. That's a great topic. Really simple and really usable. You can spend some time talking with your audience about what they would most enjoy, whether they want the kind of in-depth stuff up here, and if they do, whether they find this format the most useful or whether they want more tips. Generally, I would say with this stuff, you want to break it down a little bit more. But again, you just want to ask people, you want to try things out, see what gets a good response, and see what really works, and just do more of that. So experiment a little bit and mix it up a little bit, do some of the more technical stuff. Just beware of the tendency that we practitioners have, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody else, of talking shop to your clients. So writing an article that might be the kind of article that you would expect your peers to read and write, and actually you want to be talking to your clients. What do they need to know more about what you're doing and to trust you more? And here's where talking about the emotional brain is really important. You want to give them that feeling of being seen, of being understood, and of being helped. Oh, wow, thank you, that's really helpful. Oh, thank you, I feel better now. Just trying to get rid of the screen share. Yeah, so the content, if you can write content that helps people to feel seen, to feel heard, and to feel better, then it's going to really, that is what's going to really trigger that connection in the brain and want people to spend more time in your space, basically. So think about who you're writing to. Think about what they're needing when you're writing, when they're reading your stuff. What are they needing? Are they needing encouragement? Are they needing clarity? Are they needing information? Are they needing a how-to? Are they needing a solution to a problem? And then write in response to that. So that's how I would proceed with your blog. Try some things, break it down, ask people what they need, and understand what they're most looking for from the blog, and meet that need. So it's a lot of experimenting with the blog. But basically, you've got a lot of really, really good content in here. It's just a question of jigging it around and making that shift from talking about your tools to holding space, to stepping up as Jotipal and realizing that that's the most valuable thing you have to offer, and just clarifying who your work is most useful for, how it's different from everything else that's on offer, and what specific results and impact it's going to have. And once you've got those things laid out and clarified, I think it's going to be a really, really powerful piece of writing and a really effective website. Good luck.